Beloved, before we can even begin to speak of numbers, amounts, or the specific methods of manifestation, we must undergo a radical revolution in our understanding of what money actually is. If you view money as a cold, hard, inanimate object that you must struggle to obtain, you have already lost the battle before it has begun. You must awaken to the profound spiritual truth that money is not a shadow that drifts without identity. It is not some faraway thing that might or might not notice you depending on luck or chance. Money is a living vibration. It is a pulsating, dynamic energy that flows through the universe, obeying the same laws of attraction and repulsion that govern the stars and the tides. Everything in this created world is energy in motion, vibrating at different frequencies. A rock vibrates at a slow frequency, which makes it solid. Light vibrates at a high frequency, which makes it radiant. Money vibrates at the frequency of appreciation, freedom, and circulation. It is a form of divine substance, the same substance that makes up the air you breathe and the blood in your veins. It is God in manifestation as supply. Therefore, money is not evil, it is neutral. It waits for the impress of the human mind to give it direction and purpose. When you understand that money is a living vibration, you realize that it has a kind of intelligence. It knows where it is welcome, it knows where it is respected, and most importantly, it answers to the one who calls it clearly. Just as a child turns when their name is spoken with love, so does money respond when you call it by the name you give it in spirit. Imagine for a moment that money is a guest in your home. If you ignored this guest, spoke ill of them, feared them, or constantly worried that they would leave, would that guest want to stay? Would they want to return? Of course not. Yet this is exactly how the majority of humanity treats the energy of money. They worry about it, which is a form of fear. They hoard it, which is a form of suffocation. Or they speak of it with disdain, calling it filthy lucre or the root of all evil. By doing so, they are sending out a vibration of repulsion. You cannot attract what you despise. You cannot draw near to what you fear. To call money to you, you must change your vibration to match the vibration of money. You must become a host that this energy wants to visit. This means shifting your internal atmosphere from one of desperation to one of invitation. Desperation screams, "I do not have," and money, being a vibration of abundance, cannot exist in the space of not having. Invitation says, "I am ready," and money flows into that space effortlessly. You must realize that the currency you hold in your hand is just the physical shadow of the spiritual energy you hold in your consciousness. If the energy is blocked by resentment or confusion, the physical paper cannot find its way to you. When we say money is a living vibration, we mean that it is responsive to the tone of your soul. It listens, it feels, it reacts. When you speak vaguely, you summon vaguely. A vague vibration is a weak signal. It is like a radio station filled with static. The music cannot come through. But when you speak with clarity, with certainty, with the precision of one who knows their divine rights, you clear the static. You become a broadcasting tower of immense power. You set the unseen law into exact motion on your behalf. This is why the specific naming of your good is so critical. A vibration seeks a container. If you do not provide a container through your specific word and your clear vision, the energy remains formless. It remains a mist. You cannot spend a mist. You cannot pay your rent with a mist. You must condense the mist into rain by the cooling atmosphere of your absolute conviction. You must take this universal living energy and stamp it with your unique desire. This is your right as a co-creator with the divine. You are the alchemist. You are the one who turns the base metal of thought into the gold of experience. But the alchemist must respect the materials he works with. You must respect money not as a master but as a divine servant. A servant waits for instructions. If the master is silent, the servant stands idle. If the master mumbles, the servant is confused. But if the master speaks with the authority of love, the servant moves with speed and accuracy. Therefore, do not look at the dollar bill as a piece of paper. Look at it as a certificate of your alignment with God's abundance. Look at it as energy that has agreed to take a form that is useful to you. When you hold money, bless it, feel the life in it. Send it out with love and welcome it back with joy. Stop treating it as a scarce commodity that must be hunted down. Start treating it as an infinite supply that is always circulating around you, waiting for you to tune into its frequency. The vibration of money is the vibration of yes. It is the universe saying yes to your life, yes to your comfort, yes to your expansion. When you are in the flow of the living vibration, you do not have to force outcomes. Force is the opposite of flow. Force is a vibration of lack. Flow is a vibration of trust. When you trust the living energy of supply, you relax. And in that relaxation, you lower the barriers of resistance. You become a magnet. The money you are calling is already calling you. It is seeking you just as much as you are seeking it. It wants to be used for good. It wants to build, to create, to heal, to comfort. By raising your vibration to match the dignity and the purpose of divine wealth, you open the floodgates. You stop chasing the shadow and you start commanding the substance. This is the foundation of all true wealth. It begins not in the wallet, but in the understanding that you are dealing with a living, breathing, responsive force that is eager to partner with you the moment you recognize its true nature. Now that we understand money is a living vibration waiting to be directed, we must confront the single greatest reason why so many sincere prayers go unanswered and why so many good people remain in a state of financial struggle. We arrive at the trap of vague asking. Most people cry out to the heavens with passionate emotion, but with absolutely no precision. They shout, "I need more money. God, please give me more." They believe that the intensity of their emotion will force the hand of the universe, but they are mistaken. The universe does not respond to the volume of your cry, it responds to the clarity of your command. When you say, "I need more," you are setting a very dangerous and limited law in motion. To the infinite intelligence, more is a comparative term, not a definitive one. If you have $10 in your pocket and you find a penny on the street, you strictly have more money. The law has been fulfilled. You asked for more, and you received more. Yet, you are frustrated, you are disappointed. You feel as though God has ignored you, but God has not ignored you, God has answered you literally. You placed a vague order, and you received a vague fulfillment. This is the tragedy of the undefined desire. You are walking through the marketplace of the universe with a blank check, hoping the cashier will fill it out for you, but the law requires you to fill it out yourself. The universe cannot give you what you have not defined because force without form is chaos. Vague asking is like sending a letter with no address. It wanders in the invisible realm, unable to find its way to your door. You say, "I want to be rich." And the law asks, "What does rich mean to you?" To a starving man, being rich is a loaf of bread and a warm blanket. To a billionaire, being rich is owning a private island. To a monk, being rich is peace of mind. The word rich has no standard meaning in the universal dictionary. It is a subjective concept. The universe is not a mind reader in the human sense. It is a creative engine that builds exactly what you blueprint. If you give a builder a blueprint that just says, "Build me a big house with no floor plan, no measurements, and no specifications," the builder cannot lay a single brick. He stands idle, not because he is unwilling to work, but because he has no instructions. The universe is not withholding your abundance. It is simply waiting for your order form to be complete. You are the architect of your own fortune, but an architect who refuses to draw the plans can never blame the builder for the empty lot. The power is not in wishing, the power is in defining. When you define your desire, you confine the energy into a laser beam that cuts through obstacles. When you leave it undefined, the energy is like a scattered light bulb. It illuminates a little bit of everything but changes nothing. Imagine you are seated in the finest restaurant in the world. The kitchen is stocked with every delicacy imaginable, and the chef is a master who can cook anything you desire. The waiter approaches your table, pen in hand, ready to serve. You look up and say, "Bring me something good." The waiter smiles politely. but he hesitates. Something good could be a spicy curry, which you might hate. It could be a chocolate cake, but you might be allergic to sugar. It could be a steak, but you might be a vegetarian. The waiter cannot move. He cannot serve you. He stands there paralyzed by your vagueness. In the kitchen, the chef stands ready with the fire lit and the pans hot, but without your specific order, nothing is cooked. You go hungry sitting at a table of infinite potential, not because there is no food, but because there was no command. This is exactly how most people live their spiritual lives. They sit at the banquet table of God, starving for abundance, while murmuring generalities like, "I want enough to be comfortable," or "I just want to be debt-free." These are not orders, they are complaints. A complaint describes the problem. An order describes the solution. You must stop describing the hunger and start ordering the meal. You must stop describing the lack and start naming the supply. The law is like that faithful waiter. It wants to serve you. It takes pleasure in bringing you the best, but you must empower it with specificity. There is a deep psychological reason why we fall into this trap. We fear that if we are too specific, we might limit ourselves. We think, if I ask for exactly $5,000, what if the universe wanted to give me $10,000? Won't I miss out? This is a misunderstanding of how the law works. Specificity does not limit you. It focuses you. It creates the initial channel. Once the channel is open, the water can flow and widen, but the water needs a groove to start running. By demanding a specific sum, you are breaking the inertia of your current reality. You are piercing the veil of nothingness with a sharp point of somethingness. Furthermore, many people are vague because they are afraid to fail. If they ask for more money and find $1, they can say, "Well, it worked a little." But if they ask for $10,000 by Friday and it doesn't appear, they have to face their lack of faith. So they keep it fuzzy to protect their ego. But the law does not reward the timid. It rewards the bold. It rewards the one who is willing to stake their claim on a definite number. You must step out of the fog. You must be willing to be wrong in the short term, to be right in the long term. You must be willing to state your case to the universe with the precision of a lawyer in a courtroom. A lawyer does not say, "My client wants justice." A lawyer says, "My client demands $1 million in damages." The universe respects the bold demand. I tell you this truth to liberate you from years of fruitless prayer. Clarity is the password to manifestation. Without it, even the most passionate desire can drift in the fog forever. The invisible laws are not sentimental. They do not guess at your meaning. They take you at your word. And when your word is clear, the return is clear. When your word is exact, the return is exact. If you need $2,400 for your rent and expenses, call for $2,400. Do not round it down to $2,000 because you think it's easier to get. Do not round it up to $3,000 just in case. Ask for what you need with mathematical precision. This shows the universe that you have looked at your life, you have measured your needs, and you are acting responsibly. It shows that you are not just greedy, but that you have a purpose for the money. Purpose gives money a place to go. Specificity gives money a shape to fill. When you learn to ask with this level of detail, you stop being a beggar hoping for scraps, and you become a master issuing instructions. You move from the position of a helpless child to the position of a divine partner. The trap of vague asking is the prison of the amateur. The power of specific calling is the palace of the master. Today, we leave the prison and enter the palace. We stop asking for some, more, or enough. We start asking for the specific, the definite, and the exact, knowing that the universe is capable of meeting us at the precise level of our boldest decree. We must now turn our spiritual eyes to the source of your supply, for if you do not understand where the money comes from, you will always fear asking for too much. You must realize that you are not asking for money from your employer, or your clients, or the government, or the economy. These are merely channels. They are not the source. The source is the invisible storehouse of God, often called the fourth dimension. In this invisible realm, there are infinite molds for wealth. Just as a potter has shelves filled with different shapes, some small cups, some large vases, some massive bowls, so too does the universal mind hold a mold for every conceivable amount of money you could ever desire. There is a mold already existing for $100. There is a mold for $1,000. There is a mold for $100,000, and there is a mold for millions. Each mold is perfect, each mold is available, and most importantly, each mold is waiting for a hand to reach out and claim it. The substance of the universe, the divine energy, is like molten gold or flowing water. It has no shape of its own. It is fluid, responsive, and unlimited. It is waiting for a container. If you present a small container, the substance will fill it perfectly, but you will only have a small amount. If you present a massive container, the substance will rush to fill that with equal ease. The substance does not care about the size of the request, it only respects the shape of the mold. This brings us to the tragedy of the thimble. Most people stand on the shores of the infinite ocean of abundance holding a thimble. They look at the vast, limitless waters of God's supply, which stretch out beyond the horizon, and they dip their tiny thimble in. When they pull it out, it is full, but it is only a few drops. Then they look up at the heavens and complain, "God, why have you given me so little? Why is my life so hard?" But the ocean replies, "I did not give you little. I offered you everything. You are the one who brought a thimble." This is a hard truth, but it is a liberating one. The limit is never in the supply. The limit is always in the capacity of the receiver. Your mold is your concept of what is possible for you. It is your belief in your own worthiness. If you believe you are only worth a struggle, you are holding a thimble. If you believe you are a divine heir to the kingdom, you are holding a bucket, a vault, a treasury. You must understand that it is no more difficult for the universe to fill $1 million mold than it is to fill a $10 mold. To the infinite, there is no big or small. There is only the law of filling the void. Energy abhors a vacuum. Create a big vacuum with a big mold, and energy must rush in to fill it. You must walk into this invisible storehouse in your imagination and deliberately choose a new mold. You must put down the thimble of just enough to get by. That thimble is an insult to the generosity of the Creator. You must walk over to the shelf where the larger molds are kept. Pick up the mold that represents the exact sum you need for total freedom. Do not tremble as you hold it. Do not let the reasoning mind whisper, "Who do you think you are to ask for this? That is too much for you." The reasoning mind measures by your past, by your education, and by your current bank balance. But faith does not measure by present resources. Faith measures by God's resources, and those have no limit. When you choose a larger mold, you are honoring the abundance of the source. You are saying, "I believe that God is capable." When you choose a small mold, you are practicing atheism in disguise. You are saying, "I believe God is limited and stingy." Do not be humble in a way that denies your heritage. True humility is accepting the greatness of the gift because you trust the giver. Consider this metaphor of the garment. If you ordered a custom suit or a dress from a master tailor, you would give your exact measurements. You would not say, "Make it small because I don't want to use too much fabric." If you are a large person and you order a small size, the garment will not fit. It will bind you. It will restrict your movement. It will be useless. Yet, this is how many of you order from the universe. You have a life that requires $10,000 a month to run beautifully, to pay for your home, to feed your family, to give to charity, to travel, to express your talents. But in your prayer time, you ask for $3,000 because you think it is safer or more realistic. You are ordering a garment that is too small for your soul. You are restricting your own movement. You are binding your own potential. You must give the law your exact size in thought, so that your supply fits your need without waste, without lack, and without delay. The universe wants you to be clothed in dignity and power, not squeezed into a life of pinching pennies. So today, I call you to perform a radical act of mental exchange. Go into the storehouse of your mind. find that old, cracked, small mold of poverty that you inherited from your parents or your society. Look at it, thank it for its service, and then smash it on the floor. It no longer serves you. Then, look up. See the infinite array of golden molds shining in the light of truth. See the specific sums. The debt-free sum, the house-buying sum, the generational wealth sum. Reach out with the hand of your imagination, which is the hand of God within you, and take the big mold. Hold it firmly. Claim it. Say, "This one is mine." Feel the weight of it. It is heavy with potential. It is wide with possibility. And know that the moment you claim it, the liquid gold of divine substance begins to pour. It flows from the invisible into the visible, filling every corner of the mold you have chosen. Do not shrink back. Do not apologize. Stand tall holding your vessel, for it is the Father's good pleasure to fill it to the brim. The storehouse is open, the molds are ready, the substance is flowing. The only question that remains is, how much can you dare to hold? We have spoken of the invisible molds and the storehouse of infinite supply, but now we must discuss the instrument that brings these molds into reality. That instrument is clarity. You must understand that clarity is not just a mental exercise, it is the blueprint you hand to the universal architect. When you ask for money, you are essentially commissioning the construction of a new reality. If you were to hire a master builder to construct your dream home, you would not hand him a blank sheet of paper and say, "Build me something nice." If you did that, the builder would stand idle. He has the bricks, he has the mortar, he has the skill, and he has the crew, but he cannot move a single stone until you give him a plan. He needs to know the dimensions. He needs to know the layout. He needs to know if you want a cottage or a castle. Without a blueprint, the vast potential of the builder is paralyzed. This is exactly how the universe operates. The universal law is the master builder. It has the energy to create worlds. It has the power to move mountains. It has the resources to fund any dream you can conceive. But when you approach it with a vague request, like "I want to be rich" or "I want financial freedom," you are handing the master builder a blank sheet of paper. You are asking for a structure without defining its form. And because the law works with mathematical precision, it cannot build a house on the shifting sands of generality. It needs the concrete foundation of a specific decree. Let us deepen this understanding with a parable that will stay with you forever. Imagine that you are invited to dine at the finest restaurant in the cosmos. This is the banquet hall of God. The kitchen is stocked with every ingredient that exists in the universe. Every joy, every success, every form of wealth is available in unlimited quantities. The chef is the divine substance itself, capable of cooking any dish you desire. You are seated at the best table, and the waiter approaches you. The waiter represents the law of attraction. He is obedient, efficient, and ready to serve. He holds his pen poised over his pad and asks, "What is your pleasure today?" Now, imagine you look at him and say, "Bring me something good." The waiter smiles politely, but he does not move. He asks, "What kind of good? Do you want savory or sweet? Do you want a feast or a snack?" You reply, "Oh, I don't know, just bring me more food." The waiter is now confused. He cannot go to the kitchen with an order for more food. The chef cannot cook more food. He can cook a steak, he can cook a lobster, he can bake a cake, but he cannot cook a general concept. So, the waiter stands there. He waits, and you sit at the table, surrounded by the aroma of greatness, yet your plate remains empty. You might get angry and shout, "Why am I not being served? I am hungry." But the fault is not with the waiter, and the fault is not with the kitchen. The fault is with the order. Now, contrast this with the master of clarity. The master sits down, looks the waiter in the eye, and says, "Bring me the filet mignon, medium rare, with a side of asparagus and a glass of sparkling water." The moment, the very instant that order is placed, the waiter spins on his heel and runs to the kitchen. The entire machinery of the restaurant springs into action. The chef fires up the grill. The sous chefs prepare the sides. The runner prepares the tray. All of this activity is triggered by one thing, a specific command. This is how you must approach the universe. You must stop browsing the menu of life and start placing your order. You must stop murmuring about being hungry and start demanding the meal. When you say, "I demand $10,000 by the first of the month," the universe says, "Ah, finally, an instruction I can work with." It triggers a chain reaction in the invisible realm. Opportunities are cooked up, circumstances are plated, people are moved into position to deliver your order. The universe is not withholding your good, it is simply waiting for your order form to be complete. The power is not in wishing, the power is in defining. When you define your desire, you confine the energy into a laser beam that cuts through obstacles. When you leave it undefined, the energy is like a scattered light bulb. It illuminates a little bit of everything, but changes nothing. There is a profound metaphysical reason for this. Precision is the language of the divine mind. Look at nature. God does not create a flower. He creates a rose, a lily, or a tulip. He does not create a bird. He creates an eagle, a sparrow, or a hawk. Every creation in the universe is specific, distinct, and detailed. When you ask for specific money, you are aligning yourself with this divine principle of individualization. You are moving from the formless to the formed. Rich is a formless concept. It is a mist. You cannot spend a mist. You cannot pay your mortgage with a mist. $5,000 is a formed concept. It is solid, it has edges and weight. It is something the law can grip onto and manifest. Do not fear that by being specific, you are limiting God. Some people think, if I ask for 5,000, what if God wanted to give me 10,000? This is a misunderstanding of the law. By asking for 5,000, you are opening the channel. Once the channel is open and the flow begins, you can always expand it. You can always ask for more. But you cannot start the flow with a blockage of indecision. You must break the inertia of nothing with the sharp point of something. Furthermore, clarity is a declaration of responsibility. When you are vague, you are playing the victim. You are saying, "I don't know what I want, I just want the pain to stop." But when you are specific, you are playing the master. You are saying, "I have looked at my life, I have measured my needs, I have calculated the cost of my dreams, and this is the sum I require." This impresses the subconscious mind with a sense of authority. The subconscious mind is a faithful servant that obeys the orders of the conscious mind. If the conscious mind is wishy-washy, the subconscious mind drifts in circles. But if the conscious mind is sharp and decisive, the subconscious mind marches straight toward the goal. It begins to scan your environment for ways to bring that specific sum to you. It notices opportunities it would have missed before. It gives you hunches and ideas that lead directly to that dollar amount. Clarity turns on the searchlight of the soul. Without it, you are stumbling in the dark, hoping to bump into a pot of gold. With it, you are walking a lit path directly to the treasure room. So today, I challenge you to be the customer who knows what they want. Sit at the banquet table of life with your back straight and your voice clear. Do not insult the chef by asking for scraps. Do not confuse the waiter by asking for whatever. Look at the menu of infinite possibility, choose your blessing, name your price, and place your order with the absolute confidence that the kitchen of God is already preparing your feast. Beloved, once the amount has been named and the order has been placed with the universe, you must now move to the next vital stage of creation. You must give your desire a face, a form, and a presence in the invisible realm. You see, the law does not deal in shadows, it deals in patterns. A named sum with no mental picture attached to it is like a seed left on a shelf with no soil. It has the potential for life, but it has no environment in which to root and grow. You must place that specific sum inside an image so clear, so sharp, and so vivid that if I asked you to describe it right now, you could tell me the texture of the paper, the weight of the ink, and the exact color of the blessing. This is where the magic of the imagination comes into play. The imagination is the scissors of the mind. It cuts the formless substance of God into the specific pattern you desire. If you want money, you cannot just think the word money abstractly. You must see it in a form that your subconscious mind can grasp and accept as real. The subconscious mind does not speak English, it speaks in images. It does not understand the concept of debt-free until you show it a picture of a bank balance with a surplus. Therefore, you must become an artist of your own fortune. You must paint the canvas of your mind with the exact details of your wealth. Let us practice this technique now with the precision of a master. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a check. This is not just any check, it is a divine instrument of supply. See the paper clearly. Is it smooth? Is it textured? What color is it? Perhaps it is a golden hue, representing the gold of the spirit. Look at the pay to the order of line. See your full legal name printed there in bold black letters. Do not let it be blurry. See every vowel and every consonant. Now, look at the box for the amount. This is the moment of truth. Do not let the numbers dance or fade. Write in that box the exact sum you have decreed. If it is $5,000, see the 5, the comma, the 3 zeros. See them standing strong like soldiers guarding your freedom. Look at the date. The date is not in the future. The date is now. And looking at the signature line, realize that while it may come through a human hand, the true signer is the infinite spirit. By visualizing this check, you are creating a mold in the ether. You are literally carving a space in the fourth dimension that the third dimension must fill. The more detailed you make this check, the more real it becomes to your soul. And what becomes real to the soul must become real in the world. But perhaps the check is not your preferred symbol. Perhaps you live in the digital age where wealth is numbers on a screen. Then let us use that form. Visualize yourself logging into your bank account. Feel the phone or the mouse in your hand. See the familiar logo of your bank. You tap the screen, the page loads, and there, in the center of the display, is your balance. But it is not the old balance of lack. It is the new balance of abundance. See the number clearly. See the commas. See the growth. If you are manifesting $10,000, see your current balance plus $10,000. Stare at that number until you feel a sense of relief wash over you. Stare at it until your pulse calms down. Stare at it until you can smile at it. This digital image is just as powerful as the paper check because it is a point of focus. It gives your faith a target. When you hold this image, you are telling your subconscious mind, "This is my reality. This is normal for me." The subconscious mind is a dutiful servant. If you show it a high balance every day in your imagination, it will eventually accept that high balance as the truth and will work tireless overtime to bring your physical reality up to speed with your mental reality. It will drive you to the right actions, the right investments, and the right opportunities to make that number appear on the physical screen. If you prefer the tangible sensation of cash, then use that. There is a spiritual power in the currency itself, for it is the symbol of exchange and freedom. In your mind, see a stack of crisp $100 bills. See the color, the specific green, the intricate engravings. Imagine yourself holding them. Feel the texture of the paper, which is actually a blend of cotton and linen. It has a specific feel, a specific friction. Hear the sound of the bills snapping as you count them. 100, 200, 300. Count them all the way up to your desired sum. Do not rush this process. The counting is a meditation. It is a way of claiming each bill as your own. As you count, feel the weight of the stack growing in your hand. This is not greed, this is grounding. You are grounding the energy of wealth into your sensory experience. You are taking the mist of desire and turning it into the matter of possession. When you can feel the money in your mind, you have successfully created the mold. This mold you create in your mind becomes the form the law must fill. The unseen universe responds to your mental pictures like a camera responds to a lens. What you focus on, the camera captures. What you capture, the film develops. And what it develops, you will eventually hold in your hand as a photograph. But remember this, A camera that shakes produces a blurred picture. A mind that wavers produces a blurred result. If you visualize $5,000 today and then visualize poverty tomorrow, you have shaken the camera, you have ruined the exposure. That is why you must sharpen the image every single day. Look at it in the morning when the mind is fresh and the world is quiet. Look at it before you sleep so it sinks into the deep waters of the subconscious. Let no contradictory image take its place. If a bill arrives that shows a debt, immediately flash the picture of your full bank account over it. Overlay the truth of abundance upon the lie of lack. This discipline of holding the form is what separates the wishers from the havers. The wishers have a vague idea, the havers have a specific mold, and the law works with what you hold most firmly. Do not underestimate the power of this practice. It is not a child's game of make-believe. It is the sophisticated engineering of reality. Every skyscraper began as a blueprint. Every fortune began as a thought form. You are the architect of your life, and the images you hold are the instructions you give to the builders. If you want a mansion, do not hand the builders a sketch of a shack. If you want abundance, do not let your mind dwell on images of empty wallets. Displace the old images with the new. Crowd out the pictures of failure with the pictures of success. Make the image of your named sum so bright, so loud, and so persistent that your mind has no choice but to bow to it. You are carving a channel in the spiritual rock. At first, it is just a scratch, but as you return to the image day after day, the scratch becomes a groove, the groove becomes a trench, and the trench becomes a riverbed where the waters of opulence can flow freely. Give your desire a face, give it a form, give it a name, and watch as the invisible atoms of the universe rush to obey the command of your clear and focused vision. Beloved, we have now named the amount, and we have constructed the mental mold with precision, but we arrive at the most critical juncture of the entire creative process. You can have a perfect blueprint and a perfect mold, but if you do not pour the molten gold of spirit into it, it remains hollow. This brings us to the living fabric of feeling. You must understand that a mental picture without feeling is like a lamp without electricity. It may be perfectly built, it may have a beautiful shade and a strong bulb. It may sit in the perfect spot in your living room, but it will never illuminate the darkness unless the current of energy flows through it. The image is the lamp. The emotion is the light. Most people build the lamp and then sit in the dark, wondering why the law has not worked. They visualize their millions, but they do so with a heart that is cold, numb, or worse, filled with the desperate ache of longing. You must realize that the law of attraction is not just a visual scanner, it is a vibrational reader. It does not just see what you are thinking, it feels what you are vibrating. The universe is blind to your intellectual desires, but it is hypersensitive to your emotional states. If you are visualizing wealth but vibrating anxiety, the universe receives the signal of anxiety and multiplies that. Therefore, you must learn to clothe your mental picture in the living fabric of gratitude, joy, and absolute certainty. Let us go deeper into this mechanics of vibration. When you see your named sum in your mind, your heart must respond as if the money has already reached your hands. This is the great secret of the masters. They do not wait for the physical event to trigger the emotion. They use the emotion to trigger the physical event. You must generate the feeling of possession before the possession appears. What does that feel like? It is not a frantic, high-energy excitement that burns out in a minute. It is a deep, settling sense of relief. It is the exhale of the soul. Imagine the feeling of carrying a heavy backpack of debt for years, and then suddenly, someone cuts the straps and the weight falls off. You stand up straighter. You breathe deeper. Your shoulders drop. That physical sensation of relief is the exact vibration of money. When you visualize your check, you must conjure up that specific feeling of relief in your body. Allow yourself to feel the safety of having your bills paid. Allow yourself to feel the dignity of having a surplus. This feeling is the signal to the subconscious mind that the work is done. The subconscious mind is subjective. It accepts your feelings as facts. If you can make yourself feel wealthy, the subconscious mind assumes you are wealthy and begins to arrange your outer world to match that inner truth. Do not stand at the edge of the river of abundance with a cup of longing. Longing is a trap. Longing says, I am here and the good is over there. Longing affirms separation. As long as you long for money, you keep it away from you. You must step into the stream and drink as one who already belongs there. You must immerse yourself in the emotional reality of your desire. When you close your eyes and see that $5,000, feel the texture of the crisp notes, but more importantly, feel the joy that comes with it. Joy is the highest vibration of alignment. Joy is the acoustic resonance of God. When you are joyful, you are resistant-free. You are an open channel. When you are worried, you are a closed circuit. Think of your emotions as the hands of your soul. A fearful heart and an anxious mind are like clenched fists. They grip the little they have so tightly that they cannot open to receive the greater blessing. You cannot receive with clenched fists. The blessing tries to land, but there is no room. You must open the fists. You must soften the heart. You must relax the grip of control and let the joy of possession flood you. This requires a deliberate practice of emotional alchemy. You must take the leaden feelings of doubt and transmute them into the golden feelings of gratitude. Gratitude is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. Most people thank God after the miracle happens. The master thanks God before the miracle happens. Why? Because the master knows that the gratitude itself is the force that draws the miracle down. When you give thanks for your named sum, you are sealing your decree. You are signing the contract. You are saying, I trust that this is done. The law honors this trust. If you can look at an empty bank account and feel a surge of gratitude for the money that is on its way, you have conquered the world. You have mastered the illusion. You have proven that your faith is stronger than your sight. And the law loves such a faith. It responds to it with speed and power. A picture held with gratitude is magnetic. It pulls resources, people, and opportunities toward you like a magnet pulls iron filings. A picture held with worry is repulsive. It pushes those same things away. So, here is your instruction. When you enter your mental workshop to view your mold, do not just look at it like a spectator watching a movie. Step into the screen, be the actor. Feel the temperature of the room. Hear the sounds of celebration. But above all, generate the frequency of "it is finished." Let the feeling of satisfaction saturate your being. It should feel like a good meal after a long hunger. It should feel like a warm bed after a long journey. It should feel like home. This feeling of naturalness is key. If the money feels foreign or shocking to you, you will repel it. You must make it feel natural. You must make it feel like it belongs to you. Clothe your desire in the feeling of course. Of course I am abundant. Of course I am provided for. Of course this money is mine. When the feeling becomes natural, the manifestation becomes inevitable. And let me refresh your spirit with this final truth on feeling. The language of God's law is not need, it is joy. You do not manifest because you are desperate. Desperation is a repellent. You manifest because you are aligned with the divine rhythm of abundance. The universe dances, it does not struggle. The stars move in joy, not in pain. When you feel joy, you join the dance. When you feel certainty, you become irresistible to your good. So each time you return to the mental picture, breathe life into it through feeling. Let it sparkle. Let it sing in your heart. Let it carry the fragrance of already having. Do not let the image grow cold and stale. Warm it up with the fire of your enthusiasm. This is how you call your money by name and have it turn its face toward you, not because you shouted the loudest, but because you made yourself the most attractive place for it to dwell. You have made it welcome not just in your thought, but in the deepest, most feeling chambers of your being. And where money is welcomed with joy, it runs to enter. Beloved, before we unlock the final secret of the spoken word, the trumpet that actually summons your abundance, I invite you to make a commitment to your own prosperity. If you are feeling the truth of this message, if you are ready to stop wandering in the fog of vague desires, then anchor yourself in this community. Click the subscribe button right now. By doing so, you are telling the universe that you are a serious student of the law, ready to receive the specific wisdom that changes lives. Join us, and let us hold the high watch for your success together. Now, let us learn how to breathe spirit into form with your voice. Beloved, a name unspoken is a key left unturned. You have done the glorious work of the inner architect. You have called the amount in the silence of your mind. You have painted it with the vivid colors of your vision. You have wrapped it in the living cloth of feeling and gratitude. But there is one final, explosive step that moves the energy from the internal world of potential to the external world of kinetic reality. The law now awaits the sound of your voice. You must understand that your spoken word is not merely a tool for communication, it is a wand of creation. It is the trumpet that signals the invisible army of God to march on your behalf. In the ancient traditions of truth, walls did not fall because of physical force. They fell because of the specific, directed sound of the shout. Your financial blocks are the same. They are walls that seem solid, appearing to block your good, but they are merely vibrations of obstacle, and they will crumble before the specific, vibratory authority of your spoken decree. When you speak your money's name aloud, you are breathing spirit into the form you have created. You are giving it an independent life. Until you speak it, it is a thought, floating in the ether. Once you speak it, it creates a wave. It disturbs the silence of the universe and forces the elements to rearrange themselves. You are the captain of your soul, and a captain does not think orders to his crew, he speaks them. The quality of your voice matters just as much as the words themselves. When you call your money, say it clearly as you would call a dear friend across a field. Imagine you see this friend in the distance. You do not whisper. You do not question if they are there. You do not beg them to exist. You call out with the happy, firm confidence of recognition. You wave your hand and say their name, knowing without a shadow of a doubt that they will turn and run towards you. This is exactly how you must call your $10,000 or your $50,000. Let your voice carry not the tone of wishing, but the firmness of one who knows the one they call will come. There is a vibration of command that is devoid of arrogance, but full of faith. It is the tone of a king or queen issuing a benevolent edict to a faithful kingdom. If you whisper in doubt, the universe hears your fear. If you shout in desperation, the universe hears your lack. But if you speak with a calm, grounded, resonant authority, the universe hears a master. You must strip your voice of the trembling of maybe and fill it with the resonance of surely. Your voice is the bridge between the unmanifest and the manifest. If your sum is $10,000, speak it. Do not just think it. Say, $10,000 now comes to me in perfect ways, under grace. Feel the words leaving your lips. Feel the vibration in your throat. Understand, beloved, that when the Word was with God in the beginning, it was not silent. The Word was spoken, and worlds took form. Stars ignited, oceans gathered, life sprang forth. You are made in that same image. You possess the same creative faculty in your throat center. You too must speak if you would see your world reshaped. When you vocalize your desire, you are sending a literal sound wave into the ether. This vibration goes forth touching minds, stirring events, and rearranging circumstances in your favor. It enters the subconscious minds of people who can help you. It aligns coincidences. It opens doors that were stuck. The spoken word breaks the inertia of the atmosphere. It is the spark that ignites the fuel of your imagination. Without the spark, the fuel sits there, potent but unexpressed. With the spark, the engine roars to life. Your voice is that spark. You must make this speaking a part of your very existence. Keep your declaration pure. Do not follow it with words of fear. Do not declare your wealth at 8 a.m. and then complain about the price of eggs at 8:05 a.m. That dilutes the power. That creates a dissonant sound that confuses the law. Speak your decree in the morning before the world's noise intrudes. Let the first sound your own ears hear be the sound of your own abundance. Speak it at night so it echoes in your dreams and directs your subconscious while you sleep. Speak it when you walk, when you dress, when you prepare your meals. Let the sound of it become as natural as your own breath. You do not think about breathing, you just do it. You must reach a point where claiming your wealth is just as automatic. My supply is here. My check is on the way. My 5,000 is secured. Talk to your empty room. Talk to your car. Talk to the mirror. Fill your atmosphere with the acoustic truth of prosperity. By doing this, you are conditioning the very air around you to vibrate at the frequency of wealth. Notice that we always add the phrase "under grace" in perfect ways. This is your spiritual safety clause. You do not want money that comes through accident, harm, or dishonest means. That is not a blessing. That is a burden. When you command your voice to speak under grace, you are directing the law to bring your supply through channels of peace, joy, and divine order. You are asking for the perfect way, which is God's way. This relaxes the mind. You do not have to figure out the how. The how is baked into the spoken command. Your voice provides the destination. Grace provides the route. The spoken word creates a track for the express train of your good to travel upon. If you do not lay the track with your words, the train cannot arrive. So, lift up your voice, beloved. Do not be shy. Your throat is a chakra of power. Unleash it. Let the universe hear the sound of a soul that has awakened to its own inheritance. Call your money by name, loudly, proudly, and consistently, and watch how quickly the silence of your lack is replaced by the music of your overflow. Beloved, we arrive now at the treacherous waters where most ships of desire sink before they ever reach the shore. You have learned to be specific. You have learned to visualize the mold. You have learned to speak with authority. But there is a hidden enemy that lurks in the habits of your daily speech, an enemy that can undo a morning of prayer in a single afternoon of complaining. This enemy is the rival name. You must understand that the law of the universe is exact, and it will not deliver to two addresses at once. When you call your money by name, saying $10,000 come to me, you establish a destination. But if, an hour later, you sigh and say, I am so broke, or money never stays with me, or it is too expensive, you have just established a rival name. You have given the universe a second address. You have called for abundance with your right hand and pushed it away with your left. The law takes both orders. It does not judge which one you truly want, it simply records the frequency of your speech. And because these two orders are opposites, they cancel each other out. The result is stagnation. You run in place, exhausted, wondering why your prayers are not working, when in reality, they are working perfectly. You are just praying for two different things. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot declare wealth and poverty in the same tongue and expect to prosper. You must become single-minded. Imagine a ship's captain standing at the helm of a great vessel. He shouts to the engine room, "Full speed ahead, north." The crew obeys, and the ship gains momentum. But 5 minutes later, he looks at the waves and gets scared. He shouts, "No, stop, go south." The crew, confused but obedient, reverses the engines. The ship shudders, stops, and turns. Then, feeling a burst of hope, the captain shouts again, "No, I was right the first time. Go north." What happens to that ship? It spins in circles. It burns all its fuel. It makes a lot of noise and commotion, but it never reaches the destination. This is exactly what you do with your words when you vacillate between faith and fear. Every time you speak a rival name, words like lack, debt, hardship, struggle, you are reversing the engines of your supply. You are tearing down the bridge you spent your morning building. I tell you plainly, the law is deaf to your excuses, but it is keenly attentive to your patterns. It follows the trail of your most consistent decree. If you spend 5 minutes declaring wealth and 12 hours discussing your financial problems with your friends, which order do you think the law will fulfill? It will fulfill the dominant one. It will fulfill the one you give the most energy and airtime to. You may say, "But Florence, I have spoken so many wrong names before. I have complained for years. Is it too late? Have I ruined my chances?" Beloved, hear this and let your heart be light. It is never too late. The moment you realize a rival name has escaped your lips, you have the power to revoke it. You are the master of your own decree. If you catch yourself saying, "I can't afford that," stop immediately. Do not let that sentence settle in the ether. Arrest it, cancel it. Change it instantly to, "My supply is endless, and all I need comes to me now." Do not scold yourself for the slip. Guilt is just another form of heavy resistance. Guilt binds you to the past. Simply correct the course and move on with joy. Think of it like a gardener who sees a weed. He does not cry over the weed. He does not analyze the weed. He simply plucks it out and plants a flower in its place. Every time you catch a negative word and replace it with a positive one, you are weeding the garden of your mind. You are removing the rival name, so that the true name of your wealth can stand alone, strong and unopposed. This requires a vigilance of spirit. You must become the guardian of your own mouth. You must listen to yourself as if you were a stranger. Notice how often you agree with limitation. When someone complains about the economy, do you join in? When the news speaks of recession, do you nod your head in agreement? These are all rival names. They are names for a reality you do not wish to inhabit. To master this, you must learn the art of silent denial. When you hear lack spoken around you, you do not have to argue with people, but inside your mind, you must shout, "No. That is not my truth. My truth is abundance." By refusing to agree with the rival name, you strip it of its power over you. You keep your channel clear. You must reach a point where your loyalty to your vision is greater than your loyalty to the facts of the world. The facts may say shortage, but your vision says overflow. If you speak the facts, you perpetuate them. If you speak the vision, you create it. This law of consistency is the secret of the breakthrough. The walls of Jericho did not fall because the Israelites shouted once. They marched for 7 days. They kept the vibration high. They refused to let doubt enter the camp. You must do the same. You must besiege your resistance with a constant bombardment of truth. You must make your signal so strong, so undiluted, and so constant that the universe cannot miss it. You must create a groove in the atmosphere that leads only to your door. When you remove the rival name, you remove the friction. The flow becomes smooth. The delays dissolve. The money you have called by name looks for you and sees a clear path. It sees a host who is ready, a host who is not double-minded, a host who speaks one language, the language of plenty. So today, make a covenant with your tongue. Promise yourself that you will no longer betray your own prayers. Promise yourself that when you call your money, you will wait for it with the patience of faith, and you will speak of nothing but its arrival. Eliminate the contradictions, and you eliminate the delay. Stand firm in the single truth. God is your supply, and that supply is here now. Beloved, once you have called your money by name and stripped away every rival name, you enter the phase that tests the mettle of every soul. This is the time between the decree and the delivery. This is the silence before the symphony. Your work now is not to wait in worry, wondering if the law heard you, but to keep the call alive until it arrives. Think of this phase as keeping a lantern lit in the window for a traveler who is journeying through the dark to reach you. You do not know the exact hour they will appear on the horizon. You do not know if they will come by the main road or a hidden path, but you know they are coming. And so, you keep the light burning bright so they can find their way home. If you extinguish the lantern because you are tired of waiting, the traveler may pass right by your door, unable to see the welcome you prepared. Your consistent, joyful declaration is that lantern. It acts as a beacon in the invisible realm. It cuts through the darkness of delay and signals to your abundance that a place has been prepared for it. The law responds to living words, not to weary pleading. If you call once and then fall silent for a week, the signal grows faint. It is like a fire that is not fed, it turns to ash. You must feed the fire of your faith every single day with the fuel of your spoken word. There is a profound misunderstanding about repetition that we must clear up. You do not repeat your affirmations because God is deaf. The infinite intelligence heard you the first time you formed the thought. You repeat your affirmations because you are forgetful. You repeat them to convince your own subconscious mind, which has been programmed for years with the habits of lack. You are carving a new groove in the record of your being. The first time you say $10,000 is mine, your subconscious might reject it. But the 100th time you say it, your subconscious begins to accept it. The 1,000th time you say it, your subconscious believes it is the only truth and moves heaven and earth to manifest it. Say it often, but say it as one watering a seed, not digging it up to see if it has grown. This is the fatal error of the amateur manifester. They plant the seed of wealth with a powerful decree, but then, filled with anxiety, they dig it up every hour to check for roots. Is it working? Is it here yet? Why hasn't it happened? Every time you doubt, you are digging up the seed. You are exposing it to the harsh light of fear, and it dies. You must have the discipline to water the seed and then leave it alone. Your declaration is the water. Your trust is the sunlight. Let the divine soil do its work in the dark. You do not need to see the roots to know the tree is coming. This keeping of the lantern requires you to weave your decree into the fabric of your daily life until it becomes your atmosphere. Do not let days pass in silence. For silence in the face of your desire is like an untended room. It gathers dust and grows cold. Keep the call in your heart, on your lips, and in your atmosphere. Whisper it as you fold your clothes in the morning. Declare it as you walk to the door to leave for work. Sing it while you prepare your morning tea. Let it become the sound that fills the air of your home, so much so that even your walls seem to echo it back. When you saturate your environment with the sound of abundance, you are creating a magnetic field. You are building a sanctuary where poverty cannot enter because the vibration is too high. You are proving to the universe that you are not just a fair-weather believer who prays only when in trouble. You are proving that you are a steady keeper of the flame. This steadfastness is attractive. It commands respect from the elements. The law honors the one who stands firm when there is no evidence, more than the one who believes only when the check is in hand. And here is your refreshing reminder regarding the energy of waiting. The energy you hold while you wait is the invitation your blessing reads to find you. If you wait with impatience, tapping your foot and checking the clock, you are sending out a vibration of, "It is not here." You are affirming absence. Impatience is a form of doubt. It is a declaration that you do not trust the timing of the divine. But if you wait with active expectancy, you are sending out a vibration of, "It is almost here." Active expectancy is the attitude of a host who knows the guest is turning into the driveway. You are not stressed, you are excited. You are putting the final touches on the meal. You are fluffing the pillows. You are smiling at the door. If you keep your heart open, your voice steady, and your words consistent, you create a clear, wide channel through which your supply flows. If you let impatience cloud your tone or doubt bend your words, you place stones in that channel. You block the very road you are asking your wealth to travel on. Your call must be alive with gratitude even before the money arrives. This is the oil that keeps the lantern burning. If you try to sustain the call with willpower alone, you will burn out. Willpower is a limited resource, but if you sustain the call with gratitude, you will never tire, because gratitude generates energy. Thank the law as if the sum were already in your hand. Thank you, Father, that this money is mine. Thank you that it is working. Thank you that it is done. This gratitude shifts you from a beggar to a receiver. It tells the universe that you are not trying to convince it to give, you are thanking it for having already given. When you live in this vibration, the money you have called by name cannot lose its way. It acts like a homing pigeon that must return to the place where it is fed. It must come, For the law does not deny the one who calls, and keeps calling with the unwavering faith of a child who knows their parent keeps their promises. Consider the lighthouse. The lighthouse does not run around the island looking for ships. It stands still, it shines its light. It turns its beam consistently, rhythmically, through the fog and the storm. It does not turn off the light because no ships are seen. It keeps shining because it knows that the ships need the light to find the harbor. You are the lighthouse. Your specific sum of money is the ship. Do not turn off your light because the ocean looks empty today. The ship is just beyond the horizon. It is navigating toward you. Keep the beam of your decree rotating. Keep the signal clear. I am wealthy. I am provided for. My good is here. Let that light shine through the night of your doubt. Let it shine through the storms of the economy. The consistency of your light is what guides the cargo to your shore. If you flicker, the ship may drift. If you shine, the ship must dock. So, trim your lamp, beloved, add the oil of joy, stand your watch, and know that no light shown in faith has ever gone unanswered by the dawn of manifestation. Beloved, we have reached the final and most sophisticated lesson in the art of calling your money by name. You have learned to define the amount. You have learned to visualize the form, and you have learned to speak the decree. But there is a subtle thief that steals the blessing right at the doorstep of manifestation. That thief is the future tense. When the thing you have called draws near, you must never speak of it as distant. The law of the universe responds only to the vibration of now. It does not understand tomorrow. It does not understand someday. It operates entirely in the eternal present. If you keep saying, my money will come, or I will be rich, or God is going to help me, you are inadvertently placing your good on the horizon. And what is the nature of the horizon? As you walk toward it, it moves away from you. You can chase the horizon for a lifetime and never touch it. By speaking in the future tense, you are keeping your wealth permanently pushed just out of reach. You are affirming that it is not here. And because the law gives you exactly what you affirm, it will keep your wealth coming but never arriving. You will live in a perpetual state of almost, but never is. To break this cycle, you must shift your language and your consciousness from the vibration of will be to the vibration of is. Instead of saying, it will come, you must say, it is here. Instead of saying, I am going to have, you must say, I have. You must declare, this sum is mine now. It is in my possession in perfect ways. You might say, but Florence, how can I say it is here when my hands are empty? Is that not a lie? Beloved, you must understand the nature of reality. The physical world is the last place where things appear, not the first. The money exists in the invisible storehouse the moment you claim it. It is real in the realm of spirit. When you say, it is here, you are speaking the spiritual truth. You are acknowledging the reality of the unseen. If you wait until you see it physically to say, it is here, you are not using faith. You are using sensory perception, and sensory perception has no creative power. Faith calls those things which be not as though they were. This is the alchemy of the now. When you speak in the present tense, you collapse the timeline. You pull the future into the present moment. You compel the invisible substance to harden into visible fact immediately. You are telling the universe that the transaction is complete, and the universe, respecting your authority, must produce the evidence. Think of a host preparing for an honored guest. The wise host does not say, one day a guest might arrive, and leave the house messy and dark. If they did that, even if the guest came, they would not feel welcome and might walk on by. No, the wise host acts in the now. They set the table with the finest china. They make the bed with fresh linens. They light the lamp in the window. They cook the meal. They do all of this before the knock on the door. They act as if the guest is already stepping across the threshold. In the same way, you must prepare your life for the money you have named. Let your words and your actions be in harmony with its presence, not its absence. If you ask for money to buy a new car, go clean out your garage. Make space for it now. If you asked for money to travel, get your passport ready now. This is not pretending, it is aligning. It is active preparation. By acting in the now, you are creating a vacuum that the law must fill. You are providing a ready dwelling place for your blessing. You are demonstrating to the invisible that you are so certain of the arrival that you have already started the celebration. Remember, the unseen is the seedbed of all reality, and your spoken word is the gardener's hand. When you declare it is here, you are quickening the seed. You are pouring the potent fertilizer of certainty upon your desire. Here is your refresher in the midst of this truth, a metaphor that will stay with you. Every word you speak is a receipt for the thing you claim. Imagine you are at a divine counter. If you speak in the past tense, saying, "I had money," you are holding a receipt for something gone. If you speak in the future tense, saying, "I will have money," the receipt is stamped pending. You cannot cash a pending receipt, you can only wait. But if you speak in the present tense, saying, "I have money now," the receipt is stamped paid. The law cannot deny a paid claim. It must fulfill it. It has no choice. The transaction is settled in the mind, so it must be settled in the wallet. So, from this moment forward, fill your speech with the vibration of the accomplished. Walk as though your supply is already in your hand. Give thanks for it as if it were already spent and enjoyed. Let every breath affirm, "It is here. It is done." Do not look at the empty mailbox and say, "It didn't come." Look at it and say, "It is on its way. It is already mine." Do not look at the bill and say, "I can't pay it." Look at it and say, "The supply to pay this is in my possession in the realm of truth, and it manifests now." This radical refusal to acknowledge absence is what makes a master. You are living in the fourth dimension while walking in the third. You are holding the high watch. And as you do, the invisible moves swiftly into the visible. For you have spoken the arrival into the very moment you stand in. You have anchored the drifting energy of wealth into the solid ground of the present. You have stopped chasing the horizon and realized that you stand on the holy ground of fulfillment right where you are. The money is not coming, the money is becoming. It is becoming visible because you have commanded it to be here, now. Beloved, now that we have walked together through every step of this sacred teaching, hear me as I gather the threads into one living cord of truth. We have journeyed far from the valley of vague wishing and have ascended the mountain of clear commanding. You have learned that money is not a tyrant to be feared, nor a ghost to be chased, but a living vibration born in the unseen, waiting for the impress of your specific thought. You have seen that poverty and wealth spring from the same soil of the mind, watered by your consistent attention and your spoken word. You have understood the mechanics of the divine storehouse, realizing that the mold you hold in your mind shapes the sum you receive, and that you cannot pour a fortune into a vessel shaped like lack. You have discovered the power of continual calling, the necessity of keeping the fire of gratitude alive, and the absolute secret of speaking in the vibration of the present moment. These are not merely intellectual concepts to be admired, they are the keys to your prison cell. You have held the key in your hand all along, but until now, you may have been turning it the wrong way. Today, you start turning it toward freedom. This is not a teaching for the mind alone. It is a call to live differently starting this very second. You must rise from this moment and refuse to be the person you were yesterday. The person you were yesterday begged for more. The person you are today commands the exact. The person you were yesterday wavered between faith and fear. The person you are today stands like a rock in the ocean of truth. You must speak your sum with clarity. You must hold it in your imagination with the warmth of a lover. You must align your words, your atmosphere, and your actions with its inevitable arrival. You must refuse the language of waiting and embrace the language of having. Every time doubt whispers in your ear, you must answer with your thunderous declaration. Every time delay tempts you to loosen your grip, you must tighten it with aggressive gratitude. I tell you, the invisible laws have no choice but to obey the voice of unwavering faith. The law is impersonal. It does not care about your past failures. It only cares about your present decree. If you stand firm now, the past is wiped clean, and the future is rewritten in gold. Therefore, do not simply leave this video as a pleasant thought to be forgotten by dinner time. Make a covenant with your own soul. Promise yourself that you will call your money by name and refuse to call it anything else. See it in your possession. Feel it in your life. Bless it before it appears. And when it comes, and it will come, remember to testify. Speak aloud the goodness of God and the precision of His law, so others may learn that their word too is a living key. You are a lighthouse for others. When you demonstrate the law, you light the way for 1,000 others to find their own supply. So now, let us seal this work. A teaching is not complete until it is sealed with the seal of faith. This seal is a final, irrevocable statement of truth that locks your desire into the machinery of the universe. I want you to center yourself. Put aside all distractions. Feel the presence of the infinite within you. Raise your head high, for you are a child of the King, and it is time to claim your inheritance. Speak these words with me, either aloud or in the sanctuary of your heart, and let them be the law of your life from this moment forward. Decree with me now. I banish the past. I banish every memory of lack, every habit of vague asking, and every fear of the future. I stand in the radiant light of the eternal now. I call upon the infinite intelligence to execute my specific command. I name my good. I see my supply. I feel my freedom. I declare that the infinite storehouse is open to me, and that the specific sum I have named is now released from the fourth dimension into my hands. I deny the power of debt. I deny the power of lack. I deny the power of circumstances. They are shadows, and I am the light. My word is the law of my universe. I speak to the east, the west, the north, and the south, and I command my abundance to gather itself and come to me. I pull down the barriers of resistance. I dissolve the mountains of delay. I walk the highway of success. I am specific. I am clear. I am certain. I declare that my money has a name, and I call it daily. It hears my voice, and it obeys. It comes to me under grace, in perfect ways, harming no one, blessing everyone. It comes in avalanches of plenty. It comes in waves of peace. I am not waiting for it. I am welcoming it. It is here. It is done. The check is signed. The account is full. The need is met. The dream is funded. I accept it. I receive it. I give thanks for it. I am the master of my financial destiny. I am the alchemist of my own life. I turn the base metal of fear into the gold of faith. I stand immovable. I stand victorious. I stand rich in consciousness, and therefore I must be rich in manifestation. This is my word. This is my will. This is my reality. Thank you, Father, that you have heard me and that you always hear me. It is sealed in the ether. It is stamped paid in the physical. And so it is. Go forth from this place and prosper. Do not look back. Do not waver. You have set the law in motion. Now, walk in the confidence that the universe is rearranging itself to meet you. The name of your blessing has been spoken. Now, watch it appear. If you have felt a shift in your spirit today, do not let it fade. The journey to mastery is walked daily. I have prepared many more deep teachings on this channel to help you navigate the divine laws of Florence Scovel Shinn. If you want to master the game of life and keep your lantern lit, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this truth, for as you give, so shall you receive. Leave a comment below declaring your specific sum, saying, I call my money by name, and it is here. Thank you for watching, thank you for aligning, and remember your supply is waiting for your command.